Hey, everybody, this is Matt with M32 Outdoors. Welcome to episode 1 of the new podcast that talks hunting, gear, fishing, stories, whatever, outside included. Um, I've got my best friend and partner in crime here. Actually, I'm the one in crime. She's just always busting me about things. But um, we get to interview here first tonight. And Cris, tell us how we met real quick first.
That was not one of the questions.
Is that one of the questions? All right, I'll say it. We met at Kmart, of all places. She was working sporting goods. End of story. Okay, tell us about today. What went on this morning when we got out to our stands?
Um, Same as usual, walking out, it's dark, it's cold. Um, Unfortunately, this morning I forgot my heated vest. Um, and my husband was sweet enough to give me his extra sweater, so I didn't get too cold.
Speaking of cold, it wasn't too cold today, was it? It was pretty warm this
No, it
morning.
wasn't too bad.
No, my hands got a little chilled late in the morning, but um, the gloves I bought weren't the best gloves. But you know, we enjoy the outdoors. I'd like to get her into more fishing. She likes to bobber fish, which is one of my favorite ways to fish as well, for bluegill and perch and different things. But that story's for another time. This is hunting season. It's currently we're almost midway through the firearm deer season here in 2025. But speaking of hunting and stories, Cris, do you have an earliest story? What got you at a young age just inspired to be into the outdoors?
Um, Not too much. When I was younger, my dad was always a hunter. He hunted, squirrels, rabbits, deer, partridge, just about anything. He didn't really typically take us kids out very much, um, but I do remember him taking me out one time, I think deer hunting. Um, I don't remember much about it. I just remember sitting in the woods and I was probably bored out of my mind.
That's usually a typical kid's story. My older brother Scott has a story that's similar to that. He came out of the woods just upset and angry that dad drug him into the woods and threw his gun down on the railroad tracks where they were walking back out to the car. Said, "I never want to touch a gun again." Scott, that one was for you. But it's a delicate thing as a child when you take them out hunting. They're either going to like it or they're not going to like it, or they're not going to like it and then learn to like it and then love it later on in life from another influence. And Chris's point, she had some brothers that hunted, the younger brothers that are younger than her. So when she was young, they were either not around or not old enough to hunt. But um, can you remember, like, maybe the first time uh, you and I went out hunting? It was a long time ago. I know 27 years. It's a long
Too
time.
long. I wouldn't remember the first time we went
We have
together.
pictures that remind us. I remember one of the first times we went hunting. It was back up here and it was at my mom's house. We went for a walk. I think I just took a gun just to have the excuse to take Cris out into the woods and walk around and show her where I grew up and different things. And I think we were squirrel hunting, or I don't know if we ever got anything that day. But speaking of hunting, Cris, nowadays, what is your favorite kind of hunting? Is it whitetail?
I only deer hunt,
You only deer hunt?
and I hunt to put meat in the freezer.
And that's got to be always the primary reason to go hunting, is to put meat in the freezer. Yes, it's always good to go antler hunting, to seek out that trophy buck and to watch the activity as bucks go into rut and they start scraping and doing rubs on the trees, and you get excited because you know there's activity around. And um, I enjoy looking at trail camera pictures and seeing what kind of activity I like to call it, what kind of inventory we have on the property. Um, but Cris, you talked about getting cold this morning. What what do you do, or what are some of your tips and tricks to help keep you warm in the deer woods?
Heated everything, and don't forget your equipment. I have heated socks that are rechargeable. I have a heated vest that comes with a battery pack, so always have the extra battery pack just in case, depending on how long you're going to be out there for. And I have rechargeable hand warmers. Um, so heated everything.
I think she hit the nail on the head perfectly by saying rechargeable. Because if you didn't get rechargeable stuff, look at all the batteries you'd be buying. And, that's not ethical. That's not, economical. That's not, cost effective. So I'm glad that she takes battery packs out there. But what she didn't tell you, she also probably uses the battery pack to charge her phone so she can listen to her podcasts in one ear and listen for animals in the other ear. I do the same thing. I'll get out and I'll listen to my Bible in the morning or read, and then um, usually I don't have my phone in my ear because I only have one ear too. I'm deaf in this ear, so I can't put something in that ear and be able to listen to it in the woods as well. But I think using the rechargeable socks, rechargeable vest, I bought her some gloves, but they were too big. I think that was what the problem
Yeah,
with
they
those
were
were.
way too big.
They were too big of gloves. That's the problem with buying online is
Well, that also is the problem if your husband doesn't pay attention to the size he actually orders. You know,
okay, next question. No, just kidding. I do have another question for Cris. Cris, is there any animal or any dream hunts that most probably my viewers have gone on or are willing or wanting to go on? But is there any type of animal outside of northern Michigan or a place to go that you would thought would be a cool hunt to go do?
honestly, I've never really thought about it. I don't have aspirations to really go hunt anything else. I don't have dreams of hunting anything else. I like to hunt local. I like to be able to just say, yeah, I feel like hunting today. No, I don't feel like hunting today, and be able to drive 10, 15 minutes, be there,
Hmm.
be comfortable, know where I'm at. I also could get lost in a paper bag. So I
That's a
like to be,
story. That's a
I like
story
to
for another
be
time.
familiar with where I'm at and what I'm doing, and just be comfortable in my surroundings.
Again, she was spot on with that question. I asked about like a dream hunt or a place to go shoot that beautiful large animal. Um, Cris, have you had your dream hunt here in Michigan yet, or are you still waiting? What happened November 15th of 2021? I don't know if that would be considered your dream hunt, but I think is that your best hunt to
I,
date?
I mean, I don't know that I would call it a dream hunt, but it's definitely a memorable story. Dream hunt for me is just, like I said, putting meat in the freezer. Anytime I can successfully um, shoot a deer and know that I made a confident, good shot and a quick ethical kill. I don't want the animals to suffer, but putting meat in my freezer is my ultimate goal. But the most fun story that we've ever had, I was up in a tree stand. This was before I got my pop-up blinds. Um, and I had seen a deer, and it was behind cover, and so I just kept watching and praying that the Lord would send it out to me, and so that um, I could get a good clear shot between trees and whatever. And I actually had to work my gun around another tree because it was walking, and I was kind of in a tripod of trees, and so I had to like adjust and get lean around the other tree. I didn't know that um, there was only one to my knowledge, and I just was following it in my scope, waiting to be able to get a good shot. And the opportunity came. I got my shot, took my shot, watched it, didn't run too far, crashed. Um, and then next thing I know, there's another deer running out right behind it from some other trees. I hadn't even seen that one. And it ran right under me, past my stand, through the next section of woods out into the clearing where Matt was sitting. And, here's another shot right away. And next thing I know, he's calling me. He's like, Cris, I think I just dropped your deer for you. I said, no, honey, I dropped my own deer. I can see it. I said, you shot the second one. He's like, what?
Yeah, that just it still thrills my heart. And I mean, I consider myself a seasoned deer hunter, and I got some serious buck fever that day. Did you shake it all on your shot, or were you just trying to concentrate on a good
I
shot?
I was just concentrating, just uh, trying to get my shot, get my opening, wait for that right moment to make sure I was steady and pull the trigger.
So you were harnessed up in that tree, but did you feel safe being up with, you said you're in a tripod. So you have a tree that you're hang on because it's ladder stick and then a hang on, and then two other trees. One tree had the ladder on it, and then the other tree, this is one of the tips I like is try to get into a clump of trees. But the problem, as Cris just described, is she was following this deer and she had to pick her gun up to go around the tree to get back on it. That's the only bad part about having trees and stuff in the way. Did you think you're going to get back on the deer after you had to pick the gun up and come back around?
Uh,
Or the deer was walking, it wasn't moving,
yeah,
it wasn't
no, it
going
was
fast.
walking, but
Okay.
still, I mean, it's in a set of woods, and there's always a limited amount of time before the deer are going to get to where you can't see them, or the woods are going to get too thick, and there's just too much brush, and you're not going to get the shot anyway. So it's always, I feel, just an essence of time to get the shot as soon as you can get it.
So that was her story. Now my story is this. I'm up in my tree stand and I'm overlooking a food plot where some of my chest trees are. And she's kind of back behind me over to my left down through like a slower swampy area. Then it goes back up into hardwoods where she's overlooking hardwoods and she's got like a bedding area out in front of her, some cedar trees and hemlocks. And so her vision isn't the greatest for distance, but this deer walked out, what would you say, 40, 50 yards?
I don't know. I'm not a good judge of distance.
40, 50 yards is what I'm thinking. And she was using a bolt action 243. She shot, I'm up in my stand. And obviously I heard the shot because we're only 100, 150 yards away. And so my first thing was make sure I'm on the ready. I got my gun and I was sitting at the time. So I stood up and maybe 20, 30 seconds later, I heard a deer crashing through the woods coming right towards me. I'm like, oh, here it comes. In my mind, she shot at a deer and either hit it, wounded it, or missed it. And here it comes by me. Well, as soon as I could see it, it's through the trees coming up. And I'm like, oh, there's like a big rack coming through the woods. I'm like, I'm going to drop that puppy. It came out. Now it didn't stop running, but it slowed down enough for me to get the crosshairs right on it. I know I was shooting at a running deer, probably shouldn't have, and it didn't stop because it just got, in my mind, shot at. And I dropped that deer. It tumbled and fell a few yards and passed away right there. So I reached in my pocket, I grabbed the phone, I called Cris. From my point of view, I'm like, hey, sweetie, did you just shoot at that deer? Because I think I dropped it for you. And her response was, no, honey, I shot the first one. You dropped the second one, or you shot at the second one. So what size was yours? Yours was
6 point.
It was a large 6 point, a large 6 point, and mine was 2 points more. Mine was an 8. But you know what? For her first buck, that was your first buck, right?
I think so.
First buck ever. She shot a few does in years past, but that's your first buck ever, Cris. And we got to put that on film today for you guys. And that was why I wanted to bring her in for the first podcast, was to tell that hunting story. And, right over here above to the left of Cris is going to be a couple pictures of that hunt of our deer. I hope you guys enjoy that. But tune in another week or so and I'll have another podcast. And that one I think is going to be with my older brother, David. And I tell you what, we grew up together. We got some crazy stories coming on that episode. But thank you guys for tuning in. Again, this is Matt with M32 Outdoors. We're trees, wildlife, and outdoorsmen. And in this case, my outdoor woman wifey, Cris. See you on the next podcast.